Well, hello there and welcome to Rhythm 5. This is the course with tons of fantastic rhythm drills that you can use in your studio to improve your students' rhythm. How about that? The reason I created this book and this course was because I knew that teachers were struggling to teach rhythm, or that they ended up with students who really did not have fantastic rhythm skills and they wished it was better. But it is so hard to fit in activities to work on rhythm, which is why this is called Rhythm in 5. All of these activities can be done in just 5 minutes. Now they can, with the extensions, take up your whole lesson if you want them to. There's enough ideas there. But each one can be just a few minutes of lesson time. And if you get into the habit of doing these first thing in every lesson, I promise you your students' rhythm is going to get so much better. They're going to have skills that they can apply across pieces. It's not going to be a case of coming to each piece and trying to figure out how to get them to play this rhythm correctly. They're going to have a real foundation in rhythm that's going to carry them through all of that stuff. So just take a few minutes out of each lesson and I promise you it will be worth it. All of these activities are also designed to get your student up off the bench. As you know, I love getting students up off the bench and moving about. Rhythm is best felt in big movements first, smaller movements next, and eventually at the instrument. It makes so much more sense to students done this way. And as I said, it gets them up and moving. And you'll find if you bring one of these rhythm drills into the middle of your lesson or at the start of your lesson, you will actually get more done, not less. Yes, you'll have less time to spend at the repertoire, but your student will probably be more focused because they've had a chance to move about, which is just so important when you're young, and even when you're any age, it's good for you too. So get them up and moving and interacting with rhythm and use these ideas to do so. Now, a quick note about rhythm systems and different ways of saying rhythms. I would prefer that you use some form of rhythm syllables or vocalization rather than counting. Metric counting really will not work for any of these exercises. Unit counting will work okay. So saying 1 for a quarter of crotchet, saying 1, 2 for a minim or a half note, but it's not great. The reason is because we already use numbers for tons of other things, like finger numbers and other things. That's not very convenient. It makes things confusing. It's also just not as good to say. It doesn't build in that natural vocabulary that we want to. Now, I'm not particularly fussed which rhythm system you use. If you're already using Gordon and you thoroughly believe in those syllables, go for that. If you like Kadai, go for that. If you don't have a system though, just stick with mine, okay? Just try it out. It's sort of a modified version of Kadai. I've written it out for you in the book. And that way you just have a system that you know will work fine with this resource. So go with that if you don't already have a way to vocalize it, or go with your favorite set of rhythm syllables if that's what you prefer. Now, I mentioned the book. Make sure you download it. The button's directly below this video. You need to print it out and use the book. This course will probably not be enough information just on its own. You will need the reminder. But the two work great together because you get me talking you through it and acting it out in bits, and then you get the written instructions as well for when you're referring back to it. So that's the best way to use it. Watch the video first, then look at the instructions. Now, while you can watch all of this course in one go, and you're welcome to, I never stop you doing that here at Vibrant Music Teaching, I'd like to encourage you to just watch one at a time. Just watch one and try it with your student. You could do one new one each week for 25 weeks. You could do one new one each month for 25 months. These things will all work again and again, and they'll all work with all levels of students. There are adaptations there. So don't think that you need one for your beginners and one for your intermediates and one for your advanced. Use them across all of your lessons for at least a week, maybe 2, maybe 4, maybe a whole term. And that way you get really comfortable with the exercise and you're not wasting time planning stuff that you don't need to plan. You don't have to do a different thing in each lesson. And it will be just as fun for your students because they won't know you did it a bunch of other times this week. And I don't think it's going to be less fun for you. It genuinely is Really fun to do these things with several students across the course of the week because you get really confident with it, you know what you're doing, and it's different every time because each student interacts with it differently. So I'd like to encourage you to try one at a time. You don't have to go in any particular order. They're sort of ordered roughly in the order of difficulty, but I mean, no one is actually that much more difficult than the other because they all have multiple levels within them. So this is just a suggested order. If another one appeals to you or you've seen me do it somewhere else and you want to try that one, go straight to that one. There's no problem whatsoever. I would suggest you just mark the videos complete as you go so that you know which ones you've done, which ones you've watched, and which ones you haven't, and can keep track of them that way. So I hope you thoroughly enjoy this course, and I want to encourage you to reach out to me if anything seems unclear or if you want further suggestions, that kind of stuff. You can, of course, catch me in the VMT Clubhouse or come along to the next office hours. If you're not sure when they're going to be, those will be on the calendar page. So that's vibrantmusicteaching.com/calendar, and we'll leave a link below to the calendar so you can get the most up-to-date office hours. If you click on those, it'll show in your time zone as well, so it's super handy. So that's it. Dive in, have fun, get up and moving and interacting with these rhythms, and just try one at a time. Keep it simple. Bye.